Hello everyone, long time no see. Been an interesting few months, and I had actually no intention of making a YouTube video when I set out from the house 10 minutes ago, but here we are. The best plans are no plans, right? Back in Cornwall, I've been for the last 3 months, going back to Leeds at the end of next week. Many things have happened, so thanks for your kind messages, those of you that have said, are you going to make any more YouTube videos on my YouTube, my Instagram? So lots of things that have kind of made me a bit reluctant to talk about them. So if we start at the beginning, I can't remember the last time I made a video was, but not long after that, because I was getting quite into riding. It was springy, wasn't it? And because Leeds was like literally covered with snow for about 2 or 3 weeks in January, and then the airfield was like -4 for about a month. And I'm not a fair weather rider, but I'm not built for that. I want some enjoyment out of my ride other than ending it. So just before Easter, I had a lot of stress because I'm doing a master's, and although they have time off from lectures, you have loads of work to do because there's typically assignments and exams and everything else. So walked home from the library. I'd spent about 5 hours there on a Saturday, and my whole left arm I didn't know what to do with myself. And I know I have a neck problem, have done most of my life. Had an MRI in 2019, and I've got a prolapsed disc, and I've got massive arthritis, all of which is pressing on my spinal cord and gives me problems intermittently down my left arm. And one of the reasons that I decided not to be a chiropractor for another 20 years is it's a really physical job. So yeah, I got home on that day. I took every painkiller that I owned, and it was horrendous. That was a Saturday. On the Monday, tried to commute in, couldn't ride a bike. I couldn't tilt my head back, and I couldn't straighten my arm. So it was basically like a little Tyrannosaurus Rex. Couldn't even Zwift because I couldn't stretch my arm out enough to put my arm on the bars, and that went on for 3 months. So even everyday tasks like walking up the stairs with a pint of water, my whole arm would cramp, and I had pins and needles on my thumb and forefinger. So one word from us, and our bodies do whatever they like, hey? But I had an MRI on Saturday, just gone through the NHS to see what it's up to, if it's got worse in 6 years, or if it was just one of those random, functional decompensating things where something just weirdly gets worse for no reason at all. So I've been riding on average about once a week, I think, since I started taking good old amitriptyline, which completely revolutionised my life in June. So I'm not that fit, and I'm about to go up quite a sustained hill. Feels very autumnal, look at this. I'm not ready for it. Hang on, summer. I don't feel like we've had the best of it. So yeah, I'm going to ride up this massive hill, and then we shall have a chat at the top for what Emma did next after the amitriptyline. Woo, ciao for now. Woo. Oh, this is the top of the hill. Look how autumnal it looks up here. Feels like a long hill today. What gear am I in? Oh yeah, that'll do. As I said, got some amitriptyline sometime in June. Within a couple of weeks I could use my arm again, and then I tentatively started riding. I was basically taking so many over-the-counter painkillers, ibuprofen, paracetamol, codeine, just to function, that it was making me ill. And as many of you know, I've had treatment for stage 3 bowel cancer 4.5 years ago. So having had a big section of my insides removed, causing them damage, it's not very ideal, and it did really damage my gut. So I had to wait for an appointment with my consultant, and thankfully it shows my cancer markers are all completely fine, and they did some examinations and they can't find any reason for the bleeding that I've been getting. Sorry if that's too much information, but yeah, I was bleeding so much inside that I ended up anemic. So if any of you have ever had anemia, you know that it leaves you feeling incredibly tired, and if you're a cyclist, it means your legs just feel like you're pedaling through a combination of custard and concrete wearing lead shoes. So yeah, it was really did decrease my motivation to ride, to be honest. So I was doing short rides on Zwift for a while, and then I've cancelled Zwift, and I've been trying to hashtag ride outside. I did make it to Stone Circle, which was, I really didn't think I was going to make it. I didn't go to Dirty River. That was when my arm was at its worst. I was gutted. I've been every one of the last, oh, that's a bit quieter, isn't it? Every one of the last 3 years, and I love the people that go to Dirty River. I love the route. The weather this year was spectacular, which is just typical. Stone Circle was great, but I think the longest ride I'd done was an hour, and it's like 80k. Poor Petra, she stuck it out with me, rode side by side with me, and I made it round, but I had really bad knee pain. So seems my neck and arm were like, yeah, all right. My leg was like, no, it's my turn now. Look at this. And see the sea. That's how big the hill is because I started at sea level. Right, I'm just going to go around here and then we'll do some more. Whee! For those of you who are familiar with this area, obviously that's a volcano because we have them here. Truth. This is definitely my favourite bit of trails. And if there's one thing that has stayed constant throughout this whole debacle, it is Riley. Look. This bike is just incredible. And something else that happened actually this summer is I sold my road bike. So this is not just my favourite bike, but it's now really the only bike I've got. Tell a lie. I've got my track bike, which is in Leeds, and I have got a mountain bike, but it's been at Peach's house for a year. Maybe we could do some mountain biking over the winter, eh? That might be fun. So lovely. It gets really bleak up here. I love it. Out here on the Princess Gravel, aka sand from clay pits, one of which is there. Absolutely massive. Fascinating part of the area, but a bit that no one wants to visit in Cornwall because it's really poor and deprived. So round the side's nice, by the sea, where all the yachties are. Different down the backbone, which is where I'm from. Can't remember what I was going to talk about now. Tell you what though, it is nice. First time making a YouTube video in probably 6 months. Feels like I've got someone to ride with. So genuinely, thanks for coming along for the ride. I haven't even managed to ride with my friend James all summer, which is a bit rubbish, because I do enjoy riding with James. But I think with life just, time goes quick, life just passes. I've just had work and hospital appointments and doctor's appointments and dentist appointments and trying to catch up with friends who I see once a year. I do this every time I get here. This is the wrong gear for this hill, whether you're fit or not. So something else that happened after Stone Circle, I've got these weird blobs on my screen on my Wahoo, and now it doesn't like doing miles per hour. So I think that's not going to last me an awful lot longer. And I had a look, unfortunately it's a Roam version 1 and there isn't even an option to select that if you go back. Wahoo customer service is generally incredible. They've replaced a couple of heart rate monitors for me when they've gone kaput, like 2 or 3 years after I bought them, which is amazing. And I think I'm a Wahoo girl now. Oh, this bit's a bit techie. You're going back in my pocket. Bye for now. Oh, there he is. So what have we covered so far? My arm didn't work because the nerves and the muscles didn't work, and then my blood doesn't work because I had anemia, or maybe still have anemia. Having a blood test again this week or next week. Oh, I've got leukopenia as well. Don't have enough white blood cells, so that's fun. They checked me for blood cancer because I've got so few white blood cells, and when I had cancer I didn't have chemotherapy. They wanted me to, but I decided it wasn't for me. So there's no real reason why I don't have any red blood cells or white blood cells. Everyone's unique. I guess I'm just more unique than most. So yeah, muscles, nerves, blood, Wahoo. I think that's it, really. So let's talk about things that have been great, because all in all, had a pretty good summer, to be honest, even though I've not been able to ride much. Been to some gigs, went to Barcelona, got to do Stone Circle, caught up with some friends, and I am looking forward to getting back to Leeds at the end of next week. So I've got a 3-month hospital placement coming up, which will take me from the beginning of September to December. I won't be able to come back to Cornwall at all, which is a bit sad. but it's what I really, really want to do, and I'm super stoked to be in a hospital and putting into practice all the stuff that I learned last year in my intensive first semester as a student, being twice the age of everybody else, which went okay for the most part. It's going to be full on now, and I really want to keep riding through the winter. I'm going to have my turbo set up, going to get back on Zwift. Was contemplating actually, to increase my motivation to ride, maybe we could have like a Leeds gravel gang where we could explore some trails and cafes, maybe every other Sunday or once a month or something. Like everyone can get involved, all levels, and then share some trails, because I want some new places to ride. Now that I can ride, I want to get out and ride, and I don't want to just Zwift by myself all winter. So what do you think about that? Leave some comments down below, and yeah, that would give me, what's the word I'm looking for, the motivation and the, what's that word, when you do something so that it increases your, my brain doesn't work at all, can't do two things at once. Accountability. Accountability is the word I was looking for. I literally just had to stop my bike and scratch my head for about 3 minutes trying to remember that word. So goodness knows how I made it through a whole year of going back to full-time master's level education, because my brain is just not what it used to be. Welcome to the mid-40s. Okay, we are at the Eden Project, and I'll show you some biomes in a minute, but there's some really rad trails going around the outside. So I'm going to do those and have a lovely time. Trails, 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 trails. Let's go. Here you go, as promised. Here are some biomes. This is the Eden Project, just the back of it. Here are the fun trails that I like to come down on either side. Whee! It's really cool. So yeah, I came here earlier in the year to see Deftones. It was rad. It's probably one of my favourite bits of path, because it's really straight and it feels like you're riding in a labyrinth. Ooh, yeah! This bit's also quite cool. There's steps to ride down. Yeah, so first you go through a labyrinth, then you go over a bridge, and then you end up coming out at the sea. Can't beat it. There is a big storm coming in, as you can probably see from the choppy sea and the big grey clouds. I think I'm going to sign out now, because I'm going to have to hammer back over there and try not to get completely soaked. Said the rain was going to come in around 6. It is now 6:10. Better crack on. I'll try and do another one. I've got 2 weeks off now before I get back to Leeds. Let's see if I can do another video. Can't promise anything. We aren't promised a day, are we? So we'll see how it goes. But I really want to ride my bike as much as I can. Although looking at the next 2 days because of the storm, it might be a resubscribing to Zwift kind of week. But I'd like to keep my fitness up. The minimal, tiny amount of fitness that I still have. Thanks for coming along for a really great ride. I've had a really good time talking to you and riding my bike. So I'm going to continue in that and just enjoy riding my bike for another 10 miles. Woo, it's windy. See you all again soon.